Thursday, December 5th, and happy 29th birthday to my sister. She turns 29 again. I'm so proud of her. Thank you so much for being here. It's the Damon Brew Show on the Plus. We see the Army is starting to assemble. It's growing. Yesterday just happened to be the largest viewed date in the history of this channel. And the fact that that's happening without me doing like live post games of a game that just went final means it's really kicking in. And I thank all of you for that very, very much. Download the Damon Brew Show podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And as always, please like and subscribe. It's great to have you here on YouTube. It grows. It grows. So today, I probably stunted my growth because I came up with a Shohei Ohtani thumbnail. And look, Shohei Ohtani's a big deal, but baseball in comparison to football just isn't the big deal that it used to be, right? I mean, football is king and we all know that. But we got to start today with a little attention being paid to the Shohei Ohtani sweepstakes because it really is one of the most important stories in sports going on right now, and a lot of people think that we could have conclusion to this story by the end of this week. As if out of nowhere, the Toronto Blue Jays have entered the chat. How about that? The Toronto Blue Jays, by all reports, are making great overtures and possibly inroads to be the team that lands Shohei Ohtani, the most sought-after free agent in baseball since Alex Rodriguez. I mean, is that fair? It feels about right? I mean, this is as big of a name, as big of a draw, as big as a casual fan leaning forward player that any team could go out there and sign. Ohtani not only brings a level of excellence to the plate with him or to the mound with him when he is ready to pitch once again, he is a reigning MVP, and he also brings an entire country. Japan comes along with Shohei Ohtani. The riches and spoils that are waiting for the winner of the Ohtani sweepstakes are incredibly significant. We'll talk about how that relates to the Giants in just a minute. But Ohtani told all teams, anyone who was out there listening to Team Ohtani, that when we come talk to you, we don't want to see it in the headlines. We want this done quietly. Which, you know, of course, Major League Baseball, which could use any and all offseason attention possible, has this incredibly important story being muted by the man at the center of it. And no one who is about to try to do business with Shohei Ohtani wants to piss off Team Ohtani by going public. So, you know, the joke today is now that this Toronto Blue Jays news is kind of out, like which GM leaked that? Maybe Farhan is saying the Toronto Blue Jays are interested because I think it could help the Giants' chances. What are the Giants' chances? I don't know. You know, it feels like you got to start with not good just based on the fact Farhan hasn't been able to land anything or anyone significant. It goes back to Farhan, goes back to before Farhan, to be totally honest with you. The Giants, though, the Cubs and the Dodgers have been linked to Shohei Ohtani since he was still in Anaheim as possible landing spots for this galactically significant talent. The Mariners were also a part of early chatter, although that doesn't feel right. Now the Blue Jays, look, baseball honestly can't afford to have Shohei Ohtani in Toronto any more than it could afford to have him wasting away in Anaheim. Now, the Blue Jays are a much more competitive outfit than the Anaheim Angels. I'll give them that. I respect the Toronto Blue Jays and the moves that they make and the club that they have and the franchise that is up there. And Toronto, maybe the most underrated city in the hemisphere. Toronto is an awesome town. Great town, beautiful town, clean town, very international, great food, lots of culture. Toronto's a fantastic place, but it's in another country. And that's not what baseball needs. It's not where baseball needs Shohei Ohtani. They need him in the continental United States playing for a team that moves the needle. And with all due respect to the Toronto Blue Jays, as interesting as they are, as hard as they try, no one could make the argument that the Toronto Blue Jays move the needle in any way. They invoke very little passion of any fan base down in the the continuous 48 states of the continental United States. And it's a baseball outpost. It's a baseball outpost. With all due respect, the Toronto Blue Jays are not your game of the week, your Sunday night game of the week, but for the fact they might be playing the Yankees or the Red Sox, who are the reason why the Toronto Blue Jays are now being featured in whatever game of the week they just happen to be the opponent for some other team that draws a bigger audience with. I mean, honestly, it almost hurts to say this. I would rather Shohei Ohtani be a Yankee or a Red Sox. Notice I didn't say Dodgers, okay? I'm not saying I'd rather him be a Dodger, but I'd rather him be a Yankee or a Red Sox than a Toronto Blue Jay. I'd rather him be a Chicago White Sox than a Toronto Blue Jay, even though you'd be going to the team that matters the least in Chicago by far. You know, as someone who grew up rooting for the Cubs, obviously very interesting if he ends up there. I watch a lot of Cubs baseball. A lot of you probably don't watch as much as I do. And that brings us to the fact that baseball needs Ohtani on a team that matters to Major League Baseball, that matters to the casual fan, that will bring in more viewers than any Toronto Blue Jay game could ever deliver. This is why the San Francisco Giants honestly need Shohei Ohtani more than he needs them. You know, you can actually feel it. I mean, maybe it's just me getting goofy when I say, you know, I can actually feel my YouTube channel growing. Like I can physically feel this thing getting bigger. I think you can physically feel the San Francisco Giants getting smaller. And given the fact that they're about to be the last team standing in Major League Baseball in the Bay Area because the A's, we know what that is. But the fact that there is less interest in the Giants when they're about to have the entire Bay Area to themselves it's not good. It's not good. The Giants have this market all to themselves. If they can't capitalize on any and all baseball attention that is still available here in the Bay, I mean, there should be beheadings. Like with or without Shohei Ohtani, there should be beheadings if they don't really recapture this market. With Shohei Ohtani, it's guaranteed. I mean, everyone that kind of turned their back on the Giants would immediately turn around and pay attention to them once again, just with Shohei Ohtani. That's how big he is. And when you look at just what this market now represents, you know, ever since... And it's unfair to just say it's all Farhan's fault because it's not. He's working within the budgets of the Johnson family. They're the ones who really suck. The Giants are dying when it comes to local interest. They're dying. They're the least inspirational team in the Bay. Look, the A's are no longer in the conversation. Let's be completely honest. The Warriors... You know, they might not be who they used to be, but they just dropped one of the single most interesting, rewarding, successful decades that this area has ever seen. Certainly out of the Warriors. I mean, the Warriors have already given it the office, if you know what I mean. You can't expect them to be good forever. That's never available to a team. So the Warriors have done everything that you could ever want a team to do, including building a stadium which changes entertainment options coming to San Francisco for everyone forever. Like the Warriors have checked the box of, boy, you guys matter a lot. The 49ers are sports cocaine. Everyone in this market is addicted, right? I mean, everyone. We are hooked on the Niners right now. They are the belle of the ball, and we will get to plenty of Niners content here in just a little bit. But man, the Niners are just a monster. The Sharks are hockey, and by definition, no one really cares about hockey one way or the other except the diehards. The casuals, they'll lean in if there's a degree of success there, and right now the Sharks are worse than they were when they were an expansion team. So it's as if the Sharks don't even exist in any daily sports conversation here in the Bay Area, I'm sad to report. Cal and Stanford, let's be honest. Cal and Stanford could cease and desist any and all sports or just totally vanish altogether, and it would take a few months before people even realized it. That's how little they mean to the conversation. So the Giants are going to have the summer all to themselves. What are they going to do with it? Are they going to continue to lose interest? Are they going to continue to lose ratings? Are they going to continue to see attendance drop? Or will they land Shohei Ohtani and change everything to the point where that place is a nearly nightly sellout again and everyone's leaning forward for this guy's at-bats? Talking about, do you think he's going to pitch later in the year, next year, coming off of Tommy John? I mean, it would just be there is no greater investment the San Francisco Giants could make to increase interest outside of cloning 20 years ago Barry Bonds. And even Shohei Ohtani is going to be more likable than that guy. So let's see what happens. But the single biggest baseball free agent prize among them in our lifetime is available for whoever is able to convince Shohei this is the money you want and this is the situation you want. The Giants, they got money to spend. Do they have the situation that Shohei wants? That's a big question. The one advantage that I think the Giants would have in this is Farhan is enough of a daily tinkerer, especially to a pitching rotation, that they could accommodate Ohtani, the pitcher, when he reemerges as a pitcher, as good as any team in baseball in terms of working around a 5.5, 6-man rotation. I mean, God, they were down to a 1.5-man rotation, so they get really creative when they have to. But let's see what happens. Everyone's leaning forward thinking this could be the week we get some conclusion to the Shohei Ohtani sweepstakes. Before we go any further, let's say Ike is doing his job to land Shohei Ohtani. He's offered the man naming rights to his restaurant. What more do you want? If Shohei Ohtani signs, he's not getting a sandwich. He can go on the marquee, according to Ike, getting on TMZ, just jumping all over opportunities to get the brand out there. Ike getting his brand out there right here on the Plus every day means so much to us. Thank you, Ike, for all the support. Thank you for trying to land Shohei Ohtani as hard as any. There's no sandwich shop in America working harder to land Shohei Ohtani than Ike's. And you need to go into Ike's and try the sandwich and realize they're all freaking delicious, and Shohei would be nuts to not take that end of the deal. Download the Ike's Rewards app. Start eating your way towards free sandwiches today. I want to thank Dr. Paul Hughes for being a sponsor here on the Plus. This man has made my knees younger. He has made me more agile. I can bend down without crying on the inside because my knees are screaming at me. Cellular replacement options as opposed to surgery are what he specializes in. Go to orthopedicsurgeries.com to learn more about Dr. Paul Hughes. His offices are in Burlingame. Everything you need to contact him for a consultation is right there. If you got joint pain, knee pain, shoulder pain, elbow pain, go talk to Dr. Paul. Do it. You'll be happy that you did. If you are having a pain gambling your heart away in sports or in a casino, and you want an easier place to do that, go to mybookie.ag. Use promo code Damon when you sign up for a 50% deposit match up to $1,000. They have all the sports, odds, and props that you could ever want and a fully functioning casino. Go check it out yourself, mybookie.ag. And today, I am wearing an Oakland Oaks t-shirt. This awesome logo, this cool t-shirt that you're not going to find anywhere else other than Jack's in San Francisco. The brick and mortar's on Chestnut Street. If you shop online, it's jackssf.com. You can take care of every single sports fan that you have on your holiday shopping list going to jackssf.com. Coolest t-shirts you're ever going to see. Vintage, awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Exclusive to Jack's. Use Damon Bruce 10 upon checkout to get 10% off your order. There you go. We've taken care of the sponsors. We've talked about Shohei. Now let's get into why most of you are here in the first place, and that's for some of the best Niners coverage hopefully you're going to get anywhere. Let me begin with a final message to Eagles fans. Because, boy, have they jumped into chat rooms, have they jumped into comments and mentions and all sorts of, there are some really good Eagles fans who are like, wow, that was a really impressive, you just whipped our butt performance by the 49ers, and tip of the cap, and hopefully we'll see you down the road. There are other Eagles fans who all of a sudden had pivoted to, oh, it's just one game, you haven't won anything, as if they're the defending Super Bowl champions. As if they won anything other than the NFC, which is impressive, let's be honest. But you're not Super Bowl champions. Don't act around like you got the belt and everybody wants it. But a lot of Eagles fans do that. There's some great fans there, and there's some absolute fucking blowhards. And the blowhards are saying, almost in unison, it's just one game. We'll see you back here in January. Well, here's my final message to Eagles fans coming off that 49ers evisceration of your franchise. You lose in Dallas, you could be the 5 seed when the playoffs begin. It's just a game crowd obviously doesn't know how to do NFL math, because NFL math dictates you go down, you lose in Dallas, Dallas keeps winning, and they win the NFC East, you're the wild card. You're the 5 seed. So that's how much of a just a game it was. That game was devastating to the percentage of chance that the Eagles are assured to be the 1 seed. They could go from the 1 seed to the 5 seed. So that's what that game was. The Lions are to be heard from, the Cowboys are to be heard from, and obviously the 49ers are being heard from like never before right now. But all these Eagles fans, you're just, it doesn't matter, just one game. You obviously don't know what you're talking about. Get your Eagles wings out of your own ass and look around and see how the NFL works. By losing to the 49ers, all of a sudden you have set yourself on a path that can either still be the path to the Super Bowl goes through the link, or it could be you're on the road for every playoff game you got coming up. So that's all that was. And all that was the sip of the day. That was a good one right there. That one hit. That one absolutely hit. Speaking of getting hit, the 49ers are being clobbered with a level of respect that was unavailable to them at any other point in time this year. But, you beat the team that everybody on the East Coast thinks is the belle of the ball, you start getting attention. And the 49ers are getting respect basically like jammed down their throats right now. You look at all the power rankings, all the odds, all the Super Bowl odds, all the MVP odds, all of it is tilting into the favor of the 49ers. Purdy's resume, now that every single NFL team has played 13 games, well, no, it's through week 13. Only the Commanders and Cardinals have bye weeks remaining. This week of football, beginning Thursday night, is the final week of anyone having a bye week, and it's just the Cardinals and the Commanders. They're the only teams that haven't had a bye yet. So everybody is basically right where they need to be in terms of equal amount of football played. And let's be honest, the Commanders and Cardinals aren't doing anything in terms of going to the postseason. Postseason awards are nothing. No one cares. So today I wanted to put together, where is Brock's resume? Everyone's got to update their resume, right? Where is Brock's resume right now? And as I was starting to compile the stats, I happened to see a tweet from the 49ers web zone, and Brian Rennick put together the list of things that I was looking for. He made my prep an awful lot easier to me. It's like he is the de facto producer of this segment right here, because I got this information right off the 49ers web zone. Could have found it somewhere else, but why work hard when you can work easy? Purdy right now currently boasts the highest yards per attempt through 12 games in NFL history. Not bad for dink and dunk. Brock Purdy is averaging 9.59 yards per attempt. In 2011, through 12 games with a minimum of 300 attempts, Aaron Rodgers was at 9.42 in 2004. Peyton Manning was at 9.41 in 1988. Boomer Esiason was at 9.37. And in 1984, Dan Marino was at 9.31. These are yards per attempt. Now, every single one of those quarterbacks, every one of them, Rodgers, Manning, Boomer, and Marino, won MVPs in those years that Brock is now outperforming. So when you want to hear, the crowd tell you all these reasons why Brock couldn't be the MVP, shouldn't be the MVP, there is absolutely established precedent that anyone who does what he is doing has won the MVP. It's established. If precedent means anything, and it should, Every single guy who's played like Brock is playing this year never played better than Brock, and all of them were still MVPs. So there you go. Brock Purdy, talking about updating the resume. Here it is. Before you hit send, and he sends it out to what? Where do you send your resumes? I don't know. I don't know. I'm never gonna have to work for anybody again. I hope so. Who cares? Brock Purdy currently leads all quarterbacks in the following statistics: passer rating, yards per attempt, yards per completed pass, adjusted yards per attempt, net yards per attempt, adjusted net yards per attempt, completion percentage, touchdown percentage, QBR, passer rating success, expected points added per drop back, and total EPA, expected points added. The only two categories he doesn't lead the NFL in right now are passing yards. Very impressive at C.J. Stroud in his rookie year. And passing touchdowns, that's Dak Prescott in Dallas. And those two stats, yards and touchdowns, were deemed not good enough to evaluate who should be MVP. That's why all this advanced metric nonsense was invented in the first place. You know, the passing yards and touchdowns got turned into batting average and RBI in Major League Baseball. Like if you're just talking about those as the stats that matter, there's a whole list of other stats that no, these matter more. Well, in all the stuff that everybody who thinks about football agrees on matters more than just passing yards and touchdowns and the right way to evaluate who's the best quarterback out here, Purdy leads in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 categories that matter more than the two categories that he doesn't lead in, and he is right up there on the list of who is leading in those two categories. He's got like 3, 4 fewer touchdowns than Dak. He's 7th in the NFL in passing yards, I think. So, I mean, he's right in those conversations too. Guy's freaking incredible. He's put up how about that? I don't want to say he's putting up unprecedented numbers, because he's putting up numbers that have been preceded by MVP award winners every time that they've done it. Now I can already hear Nick Wright. Saying the following: Brock Purdy's yards and everything he does doesn't matter because it's all these yak yards doing the legwork for all of this statistical accomplishment. Kyle Shanahan draws up his production as much as Brock generates it. Okay, well, let's examine that. A producer for Niners Nation at KP Show produced the following. And I thought this was really interesting. If your argument is that Purdy's stats have been padded with yards after catch production, and that is the genesis of his success, you're ignoring history. You're completely ignoring history. And this should hit Nick right in the gabagools. Okay? 48.5% of Purdy's passing yards this season have come after the catch. The average yards after catch for the past 10 MVP quarterbacks was 48%. Again, Brock Purdy's at 48.5%. So if 48% of yards after catch was good enough for the last 10 MVP award winners at quarterback, why is 48.5% a cannot go beyond it measurement for Brock Purdy? And again, I can already hear Nick Wright saying, well, Patrick Mahomes was at 54% last year. 54% of Patrick Mahomes' yardage were yards after catch, more than Brock Purdy's are this year. There is no retreating point for any argument if your argument is being presented as what Brock Purdy isn't. What Brock Purdy is historically and measurably about to be the runaway MVP of this league to the point where this shit could get unanimous when it's all said and done. Those are the kind of numbers that he's producing. And if you want to say, well, I'm not into numbers and stats, I'm going to go to the naked eye test. You watching these games or not? This guy passes the naked eye test. If you want to ignore all the numbers, and if you want to ignore the naked eye test and just lean into the numbers, the resume equals the 49ers are probably going to win the Super Bowl if he stays healthy. That's what we're looking at. Now, there's a lot of football between now and then. I will always come back to the fact that none of this will ever be easy. Anyone, like I even saw a Pro Football Focus, shame on them, saying like, if the 49ers stay healthy, they're easily winning the Super Bowl. There are no easy Super Bowls. It just, that does not exist. Does not exist. Okay? So, people need to calm down on that just a little bit. But man, this guy's been extraordinary. Absolutely extraordinary performer. Naked eye, statistics, advanced stats, measurements, all the things that you think might, you look at all this, it's going to disqualify Brock Purdy, and you're like, oh, he's number one in every single category that really matters in modern football evaluation. So there's no retreating point for those who are standing on the he can't do it hill. They have died on that hill. Their credibility dies with them. Having said all that, it really does feel like the team that wins the Super Bowl might be the last team with a healthy quarterback. Good God. Another quarterback injured on Monday Night Football. First of all, the Jaguars can't be losing overtime games at home and stay in the contender conversation. I don't care what the record is. You can't be losing at home in December in overtime against the team that came in with a backup quarterback who, by the way, Jake Browning last night was 32 of 37 for 354 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions, and he ran for 22 yards and another touchdown. At what point would we pivot to the Joe Burrow as just a product of the situation that he's in? Because the Bengals situation seems pretty damn good, doesn't it? Jake Browning is putting up these numbers. Did you see who came running in for Trevor Lawrence when he went down with an ankle injury? C.J. Beathard, who, by the way, went 9 of 10 for 63 yards in a backup role. If C.J. Beathard starts Sunday at Cleveland, it would be his first start since Week 16 of the 2020 season when he was with the 49ers. And he might have to do that because Trevor Lawrence has a high ankle sprain. Now, the Jaguars are saying that he will return this year. It's not one of those ankle sprains, but it might be bad enough to knock him out of the game coming up against Cleveland, in which case, again, C.J. Beathard is the backup quarterback in Jacksonville. And you look at some of these just meat grinder situations that these quarterbacks are in. I mean, it started with week 1 when Aaron Rodgers went down. And even though Aaron Rodgers is still trying to lead the NFL in unnecessary attention, he's not coming back. He's out of his mind. Anthony Richardson has been lost to the year. Kirk Cousins, Joe Burrow, Daniel Jones, Deshaun Watson have all been wiped off the map with season-ending injuries. You look at some of these Week 14 quarterbacking matchups. These are tough. Got Billy Zappi against Mitch Trubisky. Ugh. C.J. Beathard against Joe Flacco? I mean, are we serious? Gardner Minshew against Browning? Okay. Bryce Young and Jameis Winston? Could be going down like that. Josh Dobbs is a question, right? Going against Aiden O'Connell? These are not sexy quarterbacking matchups. God, just keeping your quarterback healthy is just right at the center of any success that you may or may not have when it comes to being a team that contends. Little news in college football today that Charlie Baker, who's the new president of the NCAA, has gone on and just proposed a bold new way to structure and create a new subdivision in football that would allow the richest programs to more directly compensate athletes through educational trust funds and direct name, image, and likeness agreements. Now, what we have here is college's last stand before it has to admit these guys are employees and these are professionals. But it's a new way to think of things, you know, and it's something that a president of the NCAA couldn't even be dreamed of recommending a decade ago, 5 years ago. What I would suggest, if I were the czar of college football and they had to obey, every school, every team had to obey all my orders, the first order would be no more changes. We're putting a freeze on every single change for about a decade here. There's just way too much movement at all times in college football in terms of conference realignment and television deals and all this stuff. Like, can we let the dust settle on a massive realignment before we start talking about how to realign it again, how to do things again? One of the suggestions in this new model would be that the schools that qualify for the new model operate under their own rules with maybe more restrictive transfer windows and transfer portal policies and ways of basically what we've thought all along could possibly happen, where the top 65 schools just say, we're going to go our way. We are NFL light. The rest of you are James Madison. Have fun with it. This is the first step towards that. This is the first step towards that happening. Will it happen? Don't know. Don't know. But an interesting proposal, nonetheless. Meanwhile, this Saturday, 4 Heisman finalists are heading to New York. It's coming out on Saturday, the Heisman Trophy. Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, Michael Penix, and Marvin Harrison Jr. What's interesting about that list is 3 of the 4 Heisman finalists are transfers. Historically, LSU has had 2 Heisman winners. Jaden Daniels would be its 3rd. Oregon has had 1 Heisman winner. If Bo Nix were to win, he'd be their 2nd. Washington has never had a Heisman winner, ever. Michael Penix Jr. would be their 1st. Ohio State has had 7 Heisman trophies, 6 winners, because remember, Archie Griffin won 2 of them. So 8 Heisman trophies would be the most of any school of all time. I think that would leave Notre Dame and USC in the rearview mirror. The pendulum swing on the importance of the Heisman Trophy in my lifetime has been dramatic. It's one of the hardest things to understand, too, in sports. I mean, maybe ESPN killed the interest with a totally unnecessary 3-hour-long, takes too long to get to the 10-minute award ceremony that should be the Heisman Trophy award ceremony. So maybe that dwarfs some interest in it. But to me, college football, the interest in college football is massive. Yet the interest in the Heisman Trophy winner, I mean, from the 80s through the 90s, you could just rattle off Heisman Trophy winner, Heisman Trophy winner, Heisman Trophy winner over and over and over again. I bet if I walked up to you and said, here's $100, tell me who the last 5 Heisman Trophy winners were, not a lot of people could do it. Even people who claim to be college football fans. The Heisman Trophy just does not mean what it used to mean. Like, I'm not surprised that Major League Baseball's postseason awards mean less now than ever before, because baseball means less now than ever before. But college football, you couldn't make that argument. College football means an awful lot in this country, yet the Heisman doesn't feel like it has kept pace with that interest. I don't know why. I can't explain it. So there you go. We're about to hop into Club Plus. We invite you to stick around and join us, but I do want to share with you just some good news, because the growth of this channel is directly related to you. And I thank you. And this isn't my success. This is our success, because this is a true community that comes together day after day after day, Monday through Friday, and on weekends too. And you've been clicking on and watching my videos at a record number, to the point where, again, yesterday was the single most viewed day in the history of this channel. I'm not much of a statistical analysis guy when it comes to, how you doing from one quarter to the next. I'm not a business numbers guy, but as someone who's not a business numbers guy, I can tell you that over the last 28 days, this channel's viewership is up over 682%. I'm not much of a math guy, but even I know up 682% is pretty good. We're over 1 million views now for this channel. It continues to grow. The podcast continues to grow. And I just wanted to say thank you again to all of you. If you're new in here, please hit like and subscribe. It is wonderful to have you here. Thank you for being here. You could choose to spend your time in a lot of places on YouTube, but you're coming here. Again, my numbers in comparison to the biggest channels on YouTube, these are all still very humble numbers, nothing to brag about. But man, we're still at our humble beginnings. And I appreciate everyone who has leaned into this. So hit like, hit subscribe. We are at 12.7 thousand subscribers at this point. And I thank you all so very, very much for the, like I said, a level of growth that I can actually kind of feel. I can feel it happening. It's not just, oh, I can see it. I can actually feel it getting bigger. And I thank all of you very, very much for doing that. So we're going to hop into Club Plus here. If you are among the initiated, you know how this goes. If you're new here, it's about to get a little weird. It's about to turn into a nightclub, but you know, nightclub in the middle of the day, why not? Who else is doing that? I don't know if anybody else is doing it. I don't know if anybody else would even want to do that. But if you're listening on the podcast, this is where we say goodbye and we say thank you and we remind you that sports don't build character, they reveal it. And like that, he is gone. Discotheque. Oh, it's a nightclub. It is so stupid, but we do it anyway. Yes, we do. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Let me turn this light down a little. Let me get it just a little sexier. A little sexier. Oh, too sexy? Maybe too sexy. We go up one notch. Now I'm a little washed out. Hold on. There. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Again, I look bad and I look better in bad lighting, baby. Don't we all? All right. So as soon as I sat down today, I pinned a couple of messages very early on in the Plus chat. This is the boss. The boss pays. Again, brand new. I've never seen your name in here before. Welcome to the chat. The fact that you were in here before the show even started means you are now among the initiated. What do the Philadelphia Eagles and Chick-fil-A managers have in common? Neither shows up for work on Sunday, but bump. You know what? Sure. Oy, oy, oy! I'll give you an oy, oy, oy for that one. Welcome. Mike Rossi, a name that we're seeing more and more of. Good morning, America. How are you? We're doing well, Mike. We got Rick Mighty Bone Feliciano says, this has a feeling of going for Shohei and ended up settling with Dixon Machado. Yeah, that could be the way it goes down for the Giants. We all know it. You've been well conditioned. You're definitely among the initiated. And I saw this and I was able to pin it before it flew by and I didn't see it. Super chat from Mike One Mike. The Plus going to go from 10K to 13K in a week. Congratulations. Thank you very much. I'm happy that I earned your $5. It goes into the ganja jar. Thank you so very, very much, Mike. Appreciate that. True Blue forever. Never looking back. F the Eagles. Yeah, you know, it feels that way. Again, there is a denial. Had the Eagles beat the 49ers, all Eagles fans would have been, oh, I told you. We showed it once again, I told you. But because the Niners won in going away fashion, all of a sudden, oh, it doesn't matter. Nothing to see here. It doesn't matter. Even though we could go from 10-1 assured to be the 1 seed to, oh, what do you know? We didn't even win the division and we're the 5 seed. Like that game mattered more than any Eagles fan wants to admit. Sip of the day hit the over. I didn't even know when it came in. I was not involved in any of the gambling. So hopefully the sip of the day was okay. Smiley Dan, wherever you are, I hope you're safe. I hope you're safe. We had a lot of people riding the over today. Seriously, you're all insane. Tiger Tank 06 says, I feel we should let Damon run interference when it comes to East Coast fans talking against West Coast teams. He knows how to handle them. Yeah, look, it takes a bully to deal with bullies. And I'm just the guy to do it. I will smack them just with a glove of reality that they're not ready for. All right, what else we got going on here? Damon, Brock Purdy is now the favorite to win the MVP award. What's funny, though, is he basically was the leader in all these statistics anyway 4 weeks ago. And you could have gotten him at a really nice price if you wanted to bet him to win the MVP. Now he's the betting favorite. No more value for Brock Purdy, but everybody has discovered what we have kind of been talking about all along. That this guy is better than the highest expectations you have for your favorite first-round draft pick or former Pro Bowler or defending whatever Super Bowl champion that you can find. Like Patrick Mahomes wishes he were producing like Brock Purdy is this year. He wishes. And who would have ever said that out loud and thought that wouldn't sound on the surface ridiculous? It's amazing. True Blue forever. It's Brock or Dak right now. Yeah, I mean, that's what we're looking at, I think. That's what we're looking at. Again, the NFL won't give Purdy the MVP simply based on his draft status. Here's the deal. It's not up to the NFL. It's up to people who cover this league. And a lot of people who cover this league who want to deny what Brock Purdy was now have to cover their own credibility and admit what Brock Purdy is. He very well could be the MVP. He could. Which is amazing. E. Scott Burns says, Purdy, awesome. Who? Who's Trey Lance? Was he a member of the Backstreet Boys or like One Direction or something? Who's that guy? This is an awful lot of what's going on here. East Coast bias versus Brock Purdy. There's an awful lot of that going on. Irwin, another way to say it would be draftism versus Brock Purdy. Irwin checking all the boxes here. So, what else we got going on? Some hubbub going on 95.7 the game. Look, I don't give a shit anymore, okay? I don't care. I don't care. That station should be very worried about its future. Me, I'm not worried about anything anymore. Sometimes when I listen to Steiny, I can't help but think 95.7 kept Steiny over Damon Bruce. Well, thank you, Otis. I really appreciate that. I like Steiny very much. I think he does a good show, and he does it for half the salary that I was making, so that's why he's there and I'm not. G. Martinez. Blowing up, right? Blowing up. Feels good. Thank you very much, G. We need Nick on. We need Nick on. I'm working on it. Nick's a busy guy, but I'm working on it. I'm going to reach out again today. I heard Wright say this morning that Purdy's better than he thought. Again, he's starting to pivot. Oh, my God. Because he's realizing, like, I guess I got to cover what's really going on, not what I hoped would be going on. An inconvenience for a lot of people out there. My opinion doesn't matter nearly as much as the actual games being played. Yeah, that's right. That's right. This is some truth. Big Mac 8675 saying, I don't care who the quarterback is. If your weapons suck, you won't be very successful. Look at Mahomes this year. The only guy who maintained an unbelievable level of success through a just revolving door of who the hell are these guys was really Tom Brady. I mean, Tom Brady for a minute there had Randy Moss, and for a lot of other minutes he didn't. But yeah, the argument that so many people want to see Purdy have to qualify, put him in another situation, then what is he? You didn't even have to put Patrick Mahomes into another situation. You just had to change the roster around a little bit and much different. Anthony Malabed. Did I get that right, Anthony? Malabed? Feels like 2010 with Sports Phone. You're the man, Damon. Thank you very much. I mean, that's what we're trying to do. And I'm going to tell you, on Friday, we're going to go ahead and take your calls. Video phone calls. I think that's going to be, we're going to do like Sports Phone Fridays from here on out. I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to do Sports Phone Fridays, and we're going to be able to talk about what everything that just happened in the week and what's coming up in the weekend. And maybe once a month, we're going to bring the Tuesday trifecta back. Again, I got plans. But we don't need to enact many of these plans and gimmicks while football's going on. We got a big on. But once football's over, I mean, I know what's going to happen. When football's over, we're going to start to see all this viewership success start to go down just a little bit. It's just the nature of the sports cycle. And that's when we'll come up with all of our goofy tricks and gimmicks that people are asking for. So thank you very, very much. You know what? Let me give a little love to Uncle Boys, baby. Purdy's doing what he's doing with one of the worst O-lines in the league. Got some haters. Murfurkers are hating. Let me tell you what I love. I love the lumpia at Uncle Boys, and you're going to love it too. Get yourself to Uncle Boys for a burger. They are sponsors. Uncle Boys, our man John is sponsor of the Good for Ball, Bad for Ball segment, which is each and every Friday. Uncle Boys, always in the mix. Love me some Uncle Boys. Everything about Uncle Boys. All the good, warm feelings of San Francisco-owned family business, you can taste it in the Uncle Boys. Here we go. Taylor Swift effect. Taylor Swift effect. I mean, at what point does the NFL turn on her? At what point do Chiefs fans be like, get out of the box, lady? Oh, man. T from the 203, living that Florida life. What up, everybody? Back from the pool. T, thank you. Still in the circle of love, even though he shows up wearing Eagles jerseys. Twitch fam, rise up. How we doing on a Twitch? Have we ever in a single day of Twitchdom had a double-digit viewer count over on Twitch? I don't even open up the app or look. I know that we stream over there, but I'm not playing like Mario Kart, so I don't know if people watch anything other than people playing video games on Twitch. No, I play a lot of video games. I just don't like anybody watching me play video games. Like video games, to me, it's like masturbation. I'm enjoying it. I don't want you to watch it. Tom Larson. Hey, Damon. Hey, Tom. Thanks for being here. Oh, we got a little more from Uncle Boys here. He's got a Logan Webb update. Ran out here on the Big Island. Look, Uncle Boys is hanging out with us while he's in Hawaii. Well, thank you. Asked him if we've added Ohtani on IG yet. Had a good laugh about it. Here's the deal. A couple days ago, I heard that, Logan Webb started following Ohtani on Instagram. And he's like, well, Ohtani hasn't followed me back, so I don't know if that's going to do any good or not. But then Shohei Ohtani's Instagram started following Logan Webb, so, he's hitting cleanup for the Giants next year. Maybe. ESPN, again, another channel that people used to watch, but have then decided, the Plus is much better, so let's go over there. ESPN gave a backhanded compliment to the Niners and Purdy, saying that the 49ers dominated every second of that game. We lost every down in the first quarter, even when complimentary. Again, people don't tell you the whole story when they're trying to fit it into a 30-second soundbite. And the truth is, the Niners played the single worst quarter of the Kyle Shanahan era and then rattled off a butt whipping of epic proportions that no Eagles fan can even believe just happened to them. They're all still stunned. They're walking around shell-shocked. They're like when an ambulance shows up to a bad car accident and you just see a person sitting on the side of the road like, they're in shock. They're in shock. They can't believe what the hell just happened to them. How about Browning being really good last night, Joe Schmo? Though Browning auditioned to be somebody's starter next year. When is anybody going to say that Joe Burrow's just in a really good situation and he's not nearly as good as he was? Look what Jake Browning just did. Oh, they won't do that because they decided that they like Joe Burrow. He's really cool. So they'll never say anything bad about him. Again, Brock Purdy, not cool. Joe Burrow, super cool. He's a Wu-Tang Clan. Brock Purdy's John Mellencamp. No, nobody thinks he's cool. Do kids even know who the Wu-Tang Clan is anymore? Do kids even understand the importance of the Wu? Probably not. These kids got no sense of history about them. Unless the Wu's on TikTok, they don't know. Jay Broderick, new name in here, Jay, welcome. Hit like and subscribe, please. Says, goddamn Dodgers are going to get him. I just know it. If that happens, I'll have to start hating him too. Here's the thing. I don't think Shohei Ohtani could be hated. And look, I'm not going to win any fans here in the Bay Area, but if Shohei Ohtani went to the Dodgers, at least we could still watch him an awful lot. That's just it. I'm just in it for myself at this point. What am I going to be happy with? I want to watch Shohei Ohtani. I wouldn't really want to watch him in a Dodgers uniform, but at least he'd be on the radar. He goes to Toronto. It's like we're never going to see him. It's like he might as well have stayed in Anaheim. What else we got going on? A lot of people loving each other here. A lot of people talking. Damon, Michael Penix, Indiana legend. That football team stopped winning Big Ten games the minute that kid transferred. He is special. UC Steve says, Damon, players are leaving Ohio State like it's KNBR. Here's what I want to know. How come Florida State can't go to the playoffs with its backup quarterback, but Ohio State can go and get invited with its like third string quarterback? Explain that to me. Lots going on here. Smiley Dan. I'm also here for the NBA talk, not all at once, but can you now tell me I was kind of right about that in-season tournament? That Indiana-Boston game last night was incredible. Fans, players were all hyped. Look, the nice thing about a single elimination tournament is whether we think the tournament matters or not, the guys who are involved in it have enough competitive pride to say, all right, well, this night might mean more a little bit than any other night. So I'm going to go a little bit harder, try just a little bit more, and whatever the NBA's in-season tournament hoped to produce, it was produced in that Pacers win. And look, I love De'Aaron Fox, but did the Kings get that right? Because Tyrese Halliburton can play, boys and girls. Now, so can De'Aaron Fox. And I love De'Aaron Fox. But did the Kings get that right? I don't know. A lot of talk about Pac-12 death right here. Der Kaiser and Der Gilroy, ja wollt, mein Herr. The Pac-12 died. I realigned the conferences on my NCAA football game. There's 4 teams in the Pac-12. USU, I don't even know who that is. SMU, University of New Mexico, and Rutgers. Okay, so you're just tearing it all up. Hey, thanks for getting Rutgers out of the Big Ten. They never belonged. Appreciate that. What NCAA football game are you playing? You playing one from like 2008? When's the last time the NCAA was able to crank out a football game? I heard another one's coming next year. Let's hope so. A new follower, Werewolves of Sanger, says, great content draws people. Well, thank you very much, Werewolf, for thinking that what we're doing over here qualifies for great content. Damon, 13,000 by the weekend. Nathaniel Richards. Let's go. I mean, we could get there. Hey, just picked up a couple more subscribers at 12,750. We're 250 subscribers away. I mean, on a bold, busy night, that could be an evening. But let's not get cocky. But we'll get to 13,000 and 14, 15, and then I'm going to need more. I got to get to 1 million. I want 1 million. Damon, your top view videos served out 4 double ads. That means YouTube likes your traffic for monetization. Well, that's good. We want to please our YouTube masters now. Darth Yogurt. I used to listen to you on KNBR. I'm thrilled that you're here listening to me now. Darth, welcome. Again, I feel like anybody whose name is Darth almost automatically qualifies for the initiated. Thank you. Club Plus going up on a Tuesday. Thank you, Kevin. We going up on a Tuesday. Who did that song? That was a good song. What did drown in a pool of liquor or whatever that song was? Gonna dive right in a pool of liquor. That was a great song. It didn't have a very long run, but it was good when it happened. Kevin Harris says, as a contracted youth football coach, I know what it's like to be supported for one's livelihood. It always feels good to be appreciated and see your organization grow. It feels great. And God bless you being a youth football coach, man. People who go out of their way to coach kids are my kind of people. My kind of people, without a doubt. Big Mac. As one of the OG 100 or so subscribers, it's amazing to see that number creeping up towards 13K. Congrats. Well, thank you very, very much. And again, one of the reasons why this has been successful is I hope, fingers crossed, I'm good at what I do. The reason why there's been so much success is because of the shared collective pulling on the rope of my success that so many of you have expressed. The amount of people who have reached out to help me, the amount of people who have shared my content in their circle and asked their group of friends to become involved, it's just about everybody. And I thank you so very, very much. Laser Show, thank you very much. We got a new warm filter. Is that what we're on here? Is that a warm filter? Do I look warm? I got to turn down this space heater I got under the desk. I go from really cold in here to freaking swamp ass with this space heater's working right by my dick. Calm down. Quincy. Damon, my guy, if the NFL were smart enough to have, he's the best at what acts of award, a football player who you could rock with. If you see anyone besides Trent, I have to strongly disagree. I don't know what's going on here. Damon, my guy, if the NFL was smart enough to have he's the best at what acts of an award. Well, here's the thing. If you're talking about like he qualifies for MVP and you're talking about Purdy here, and no, Trent, look, Trent's a really good player, but he's not an MVP, okay? If the word value is ever going to return to what is the club's investment in you, and then what do you do for the club, Brock Purdy needs to be the unanimous MVP this year. We need to retrofit him to the award for last year, and you can already give him next year's award. Because you won't ever find anyone in the history of football in an MVP conversation that has a cap number so insignificant it doesn't even get measured against the cap. So if that's what you were trying to say, I would agree with you. If you were trying to say that Trent Williams should be the MVP. No. Come on. I always appreciated Damon giving a little Sparty love all the way back to KNBR. Yeah, dude, go San Jose State. Go San Jose State. Nick Wright and more will never admit that Brock is special. Well, then they'll be wrong, but I'll get Nick to admit it. Again, Nick on TV is one guy. Nick off TV is another. We're going to get him off TV. We're going to get him to understand that he is yet again improperly and incorrectly handicapped a Bay Area sports conversation. Nick Wright used to be on team. I don't think Steph and the Warriors are very good at this. All my East Coast fam is bitching about the Birds losing since Hurts went out with a concussion and their mall cop got ejected. It's excuses at this point. Va fa culo. All I'm going to tell you is that Eagles fans have set up their camp, and if your quarterback gets hurt, it doesn't even matter. Like, if it didn't matter to Brock, shouldn't matter to your guy either, so I don't want to hear it. And by the way, Jalen Hurts was not knocked out of that game, but for a series. So, again, Eagles fans need to officially shut up. We always pause for a super chat. Thank you very much, Kevin. Go back to college football. I think there should be tiered leagues with relegation, like the English Premier League. I do too. Look, I think almost all sports should work like that, to be completely honest with you. Of course, the greedy billionaire owners would never allow that to happen because they would never sign up for something that could devalue their investment because you're no longer in the big leagues. But yeah, I mean, in a perfect world where your profitability and your status was earned through on-field success, relegation would be part of just about every single sports conversation that we had. It's the one element of soccer that I think I respect more than any other element of that sport. All right. La Profesora says, damn it, I keep on missing sports phone sessions. Too much going on a Friday, at least for the next couple of weeks. But La Profesora, we'll be doing it on Fridays during your summer break or whenever you're not teaching. And we'll you know, maybe you and I will just call each other and you can do it with me. You want to talk about among the OGs, La Profesora has been around forever. Chef A, super chatting. Thank you, Amy. She says, Damon, can we ask Ike for a Brock Purdy sandwich? I want it so there can be something spicy, like a broccoli condiment. And did anyone ever want broccoli on a sandwich? I mean, maybe a chef could get that to work if it were crunchy enough. I don't know, no mushy broccoli, but that might be a tough sell. But yeah, I mean, Brock, what would be on the Brock sandwich? I don't know, but it would have to be priced at about $1.99. So maybe Ike shouldn't do that. To really frame the Brock Purdy sandwich correctly, it would have to be the least expensive sandwich being sold in any sandwich shop in the United States. Eat your broccoli, everyone. I like broccoli. I'm pro broccoli. And I'm not talking about like broccoli with cheese all over it. I like broccoli. I really like broccolini. And I'm glad that I shared that with all of you. That's information you all needed. '82 Atlantic says, Nick Wright is in the vein of Skip Bayless, Stephen A., and Cowherd, where they just say things for attention and pander to a certain athletes and fan bases. I would agree with that. And you know what all of those four guys have in common as well? They're all millionaires. Nick Wright's a millionaire. Skip Bayless is a millionaire. Stephen A. Smith is a multimillionaire. Coward is a multi-millionaire. So a method to their madness certainly pays off in their bank accounts. If you said, Damon, here's $1 million, and all you need to do is not talk about sports the way you see them, but talk about sports in an inflammatory, the douchiest way possible, I don't think I could take the deal. If I went up to Jillian and said, Jillian, I can make our entire family financially whole, but I'd have to sell my soul to do it, I don't think she'd want me to do that. Would we like the money and the comfort? Of course we would. But if it comes at the cost of my ability to look at myself in the mirror, I don't know if I could do it. I mean, $1 million is a lot of money. Wu-Tang Clan shirts are at Hot Topic. They don't know the music, just the logo. Hot Topic. Or no, that's the Hot Pockets jingle. Sorry. I don't think Hot Topic has a jingle. Demon D. Don't lie. Did Ohtani just do something? Anyone? Hold on. That would be on the front page of ESPN.com. I'm just looking. It's not there. Don't lie. Don't lie to the audience, Demon D. Don't go messing around. You're clearly not among the initiated yet. It's good to have you here, but stop it. Damon, are you for Ohtani to the Cubs or Dodgers if you have to choose one? Oh, dude, what are you kidding me? Cubs. Cubs all day and night. R.I.P. Cougar Rebel. Damon, I would rather Ohtani go back to Japan than sign with the Dodgers. That's fair. That is fair. I mean, if Ohtani really just wants to put himself in the most competitive and best situation, he's going to be a Dodger. He is. And that's going to suck. That's going to hurt. If he is eliminating teams based on the ability to compete right away, the Giants are in trouble. Giants are in a lot of trouble. Well, talk wished that Halliburton had been a Golden State Warrior. Oh, NCAA 14 was the last time that it came out. We've been about 10 years, man. 10 years. Albert's doing some projections here. Damon, by 100,000 views by June 30th, 2024. I don't think we're going to get to 100,000 next year, but thank you for very, very optimistic projections. But I don't think that that's a mathematical possibility unless I don't know. Unless somehow Jillian and I come up with the next like Ghanem style. Oh, here are the over-unders that I like. 20,000 by Super Bowl. Calling it, again, very aggressive. Very aggressive. I'd like to be at 15 by the Super Bowl. That would be great. 20,000 by the Super Bowl. Look at it this way. If that does happen, if we're going 20,000 by the Super Bowl, Plus Mania 3, wherever it does happen, will probably be changed from Plus Mania 3, The Revenge, to Plus Mania 3, holy shit, if that were to happen. How about those listeners who first heard Damon on 2K? Yeah, when I was doing NBA 2K games, that was a lot of fun, man. It was lucrative, too, for a minute there. I first heard Damon doing 20, 40, and 60 updates. Yeah, ESPN Radio, Sports Center, every 20 minutes on ESPN Radio. Damon, that song is Tuesday featuring Drake. Thank you very much. T from the 203. Younger and cooler than I am. I'll tell you what, Damon, you get 100. Here's the thing. If the Giants sign Shohei Ohtani, I've already been tapping that Ohtani vein when he was an Angel. I mean, remember Ohtani Tuesdays? I was doing those when nobody else was doing those. And we already got an established fan base in Japan. We would blow up. If Shohei Ohtani does sign with the Giants, it would be incredible for the Blues. The same way if the 49ers go to the Super Bowl, it's going to be incredible for the Blues. If the Warriors win another championship, I'm just kidding. That's not going to happen. Again, I like the enthusiasm. Lore, I got a prediction. By the end of next year, we'll be at 100,000 subscribers. Look at it this way. Larry Krueger, who's really good at this, has been at it for a couple of years, and he's like at 30. So I don't think we're going to go rocketing past Larry. But if it did happen, I would call Larry and laugh, and it would be great. Let's see. Devin says, Damon, you get extra points for the Lego Slave 1 right down there. By the way, I've been on camera long enough to where I finally have figured out how to point to shit in the background. I used to be all twisted and turned around and not get it right. Now I can point. I can usually get it right where it is when I'm looking for stuff. USU, Utah State, thank you very much. Otis Bird saying, Damon, congratulations for the success here. No, it's not time to start sucking each other's dicks yet, but thank you very much. Thank you very much. Quincy saying, Damon, that radio station will call you back on betting if they're smart, and when they do, please consider doing both. I would make them get on their hands and knees and beg me in public at this point. I don't think I'm going back. I'm just going to tell you that right now. If someone's got a Godfather offer to put in front of me, something I simply could not refuse, even that gets filed under a maybe. Because this allows me a freedom. This allows me to be at my best. And I don't know if radio does that anymore. I really don't. And there's never been a time in my career where I have not bet on myself, and I'm not gonna start now. So I thank you for being here. Damon getting maximum subscribers. Damon, can you give the Santa Clara Broncos some love too? Yeah. Brandon Pajemski, baby. Let's go. Santa Clara. Kerry Keating. Let's go. Santa Clara. Randy Wynn. Let's go. Steve Nash. Let's go. One of the Jalen Williams in Oklahoma City. Let's go. Shout out San Jose. Absolutely, sure. Why not? Go Spartans. I like it. We want to send it in, Jerome, from Postman. Hold on. Where is it?
Send it in, Jerome.
There you go. Bruce T. Gentrick says, the landscape of broadcasting is changing really fast and you're on the right track. Keep up the good work. You're proof that you can't keep a good man down. Well, thank you very much. Look, thank God that we now live in a world to where when you lose access to the station that you were on, you really don't lose access to your audience. Thanks to social media and YouTube. Here's the thing. Stations don't matter. Channels do now. That's, again, could I go back to radio should they ever reach their sentences and say, let's put the king back on the throne? Yeah, I could, but would that be the right step? Would that be a lateral step, a backward step? No one could argue it would be a step forward. It might be a step back to some, money in the paycheck, weekly stuff. But here's the thing. Would I be settling for short money in the future by saying, I don't think I ever want to work for these fuckers ever again. I mean, that's basically the way it goes. I'm just the kind of guy who will hold a goddamn grudge longer than he should. It's one of the reasons why I think you like me. But once you mess with me, how about that? Nothing means more than loyalty to me. And once I get a sense of disloyalty, you're basically dead to me. And that's the way it goes. Again, Otis Bird could be a radio historian. I used to love the weekly interviews with Mike McIntyre. Mike McIntyre was one of the best weekly interviews I ever did. He was so forthcoming. He was great. He had that Southern twang. I mean, it worked on all kinds of levels. Nick Wright, I do want to know what the end game is with that hair. I really do. I want to know what the end game is with Nick's hair. Where's this going? Where's this going? He does look a little bit like Yanni. Or he looks like Dothraki or something. Jim, what up? What up, Jim? Thurakill? Thurakill? It's a good last name, man. We got Johnny Dunn saying, good afternoon, Damon. I'm sorry. I meant to correct my comment on Dom. I meant it as a joke, saying that the NFL will take away his Philly cheesesteaks for at least a week. Look, we're going to get some discipline on Dom, but I'm not rooting for this guy to lose his job, but he should lose that sideline pass for the rest of this year. He really should. Retrain him. Let him know that when you're running security for a team, you don't need to be watching the game. You need to have your back to the game and be watching the crowd. And if he does that, he can be let back on the field. But keep his feet off the goddamn sidelines. Otis is right. It'd be hard to turn down $1 million. But I'll say this, man, money's never been my Jesus. It hasn't been. I've never been someone who thought, if I don't make the most amount of money possible, I'm not successful. Never thought that. Never. Again, I was in radio. That's living proof that I never thought that. What else we got? Christopher, love what you're doing here on YouTube. Love to see it. Thank you very much, Christopher Shen. Love to have you here. Again, a new name, Saul Armandaris. I think we got that right. Damon, just shared your channel on my Facebook feed. Hope we can get those 20K before that. Thank you very much. Again, please go ahead, share, subscribe, push it out. Means an awful lot. Means an awful lot. There is no better advertising than word-of-mouth advertising. Jim, again, says Farhan is going to end up getting Matt Chapman and Rich Hill and say, look what I did for you. He's a computer nerd, not a baseball man. Look, baseball teams need computer nerds as well, but they need major leaguers. Major leaguers, and there weren't enough of them on the Giants last year. Here's the thing. I'm telling you right now, if this offseason got you Matt Chapman and Rich Hill, it'd be better than other things. I mean, it wouldn't be sexy. No one's selling tickets to watch either of those, but I tell you what you don't want. You don't want some ridiculous, like 10, 12-year deal with Cody Bellinger. You don't want that. I watched Cody Bellinger in Chicago. He had a good year, but it was definitely a little bit of a mirage. That guy does not hit the ball hard. If the very good center fielder and in that big center field, he would pay off as a defender, but you don't want to build an entire team around Cody Bellinger for a decade at a dollar amount that you do not want to be paying to Cody Bellinger. Plus Mania 3. It's a celebration, bitches. That might be it. That's better. That's better. Sons of Johnny LeMaster. I mean, you want to talk about OG Giants fans. Great to have you in here, Sons of Johnny. Keep up the good work, and thank you so very much for the super chat. I know Kerry Keating hasn't coached since 2016, but that's my guy. I love Kerry Keating. One of the Jalen Williamses. Yeah, there's a few over there. Just ask Bob Fitzgerald. He can't stop talking about it. Damon the Grudge Holder Bruce. Good wrestling name, right? Johnny says, Damon, if you ever went back, they try to control you and say to themselves, we own him, which is in reality, you made them. You made 95.7 the powerhouse it is. I look, correct. I did. I put a whole goddamn station on the map. There's a lot of people, I don't think that they would be, that they would command any audience at all, but for the platforms that they're lucky enough to have on the stations that they're lucky enough to be on. The fact that I was able to walk away from radio and pull so much of an audience with me. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Damon, how about getting Michael Irvin on? He'd get you that to 100K. Look, I've reached out to Michael, have not heard back, even though we send each other Christmas cards. Look, I mean, when you're on NFL Network, when you're Michael Irvin, and you're getting paid to do radio and paid to do hits and all this stuff, and the only thing I can offer is a hey, please and thank you. I get it. Maybe Michael will join us one day, but the ability to reach out to him he's not reached back. Doesn't mean we dislike Michael Irvin in any way, shape, or form. Maybe he will. Maybe he will someday. Nancy. Nothing to say. Just a generous offer. Thank you very much for the $5 super chat, Nancy. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you very, very much. Damon, we need a little sweater love. I mean, look, I've reached out to Ray enough times to know that he clearly ain't doing it. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe I'll reach out again, but there's always a reason why he can't join. And to the point where, like, I got enough pride. Like I've asked Mike Silver to come on, and Mike Silver just never have any time. And when you say I can't join you, here's my offer. Well, I'll be like, hey, is there any point in time you could join me this week? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, any day that's convenient for you, any time, any hour. Will only go 20 minutes. Is that convenient for you? Can you join me? And you got busy. I mean, I got too much pride to keep on going back and asking. You know, I mean, if you want to join me and I give you, hey, your time slot goes to infinity. Can you work me into infinity? Could that work for you? And you're like, nah, I can't fit you into infinity. All right. You know, just tell me you're not interested. And Michael Irvin is busy. I don't know if he's rebuilding his rep, but he's busy on Undisputed now. I mean, the guy's busy. Maybe they don't respect the YouTube show again. Not yet, but they will. Thank you, Rock. Thank you very much. And Uncle Boys is down with what I don't beg. I don't beg. You either want in and you come in or you don't. I ain't begging. And you know what? We're going to wrap up with this one. Albert, Damon is people powered, and you are the people. You are my people. I am so lucky to have all of you in this audience. You mean so much to me. And it breaks my heart to tell you that you don't have to go home. You just can't stay here.